Hello, hello! Did you guys have a nice Go Battle weekend? I sure had a crazy one with like a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but luckily more ups than downs in this weekend. So I ended up having like a really good net positive of 300 rating, which I'm very proud of. Taking into consideration, I started fairly well on the season. You can see down here I have like a perfect 66% win rate with 120 wins out of 180 games, and that ended up giving me quite a high like starting rating for the season. Goes all the way up to 2,251. So actually that center between ace and veteran. So having this as like a starting point is pretty impressive, and I was very satisfied with giving the 300 points in this weekend. The basic structure of the team is having your poison type in the lead that beats the fighter, and then you try to bait out their fighting type with the Vigoroth save swap in case you lose the lead, and then Ambient should be sort of safe in the back. But sometimes people use a fighter and a charmer, sometimes they use two fighters or two charmers, and it doesn't go as well. We're starting off with a really bad lead, ground type, against my muck, so we switch the Vigoroth and we get out their charm, the Fable. But because it's running charm, it is really slow to the moves, and like Vigoroth can just spam these body slams, and also because he was a little slow on the switch, I do get a high energy advantage, so I actually end up having this situation where I can trade a shield for his last shield. So I of course will do that, and then I can also end up just farming down next to Fable with my muck and have a lot of energy. But I'm very scared if he gets to the Psychic, if he has the Psychic, but he didn't even get to move. So maybe he tried, but it did not work out. So then I got a lot of energy. I can do the Dark Pulse to the Sand Slash, and now the Sand Slash is in range for the Umbreon to actually take it out with a foul play, and also manage to catch the Night Slash. That is a very nice detail. So me being able to take the foul play is super huge. But then he switched in the second Charmer, but because I was holding back my energy, I ended up reaching double last resort, and Umbreon can take out the Charmer. How well do you see that? How often do you see that happening in the matches? Umbreon taking out the Charmer. Oh well. When this guy was doing the Night Slash, I was actually expecting him to take me out, because I have a lot of energy still on my muck, and I think he realized that. So I even called unintentionally his bait. But now we have Dragon. Okay, Dragon is one of the major weaknesses of this team, because I got no real good answer to it. Like Umbreon is my best answer, but if I safe swap Umbreon, I'm just gonna get a fighting type and lose the game. So I'm actually very happy that this first guy just decided to stay in against my Vigoroth for as long as he did, and I actually managed to do a lot of damage with the Vigoroth, and even let the first body slam go through. So even though I'm not gonna win switch now, I've gotten the Dragonair quite low and actually into foul play range from my Umbreon, so I'm very happy about that. But also this Ninetales still has some energy, and I really do not want to give a Shadow Pokemon into a loaded Shadow Ninetales. So I wanted to like sponge all the damage, and unfortunately he did land the overheat. I was hoping he was gonna bait, but it happened. But then I could farm him down. Now he's gonna come in with the Dragonair that is in foul play range, but now I can't do a double foul play because I'm so low in HP. But he lets it go, and that's huge. I think that won me the match like entirely, because I was really scared. Like I cannot reach the second foul play because he's gonna Dragon Breath me down. But now it's gonna be a muck into Ligatung, so it's gonna be squishy having a lot of damage into tanky not having a lot of damage, and it's gonna get fairly close. But because he can't really use his like heavy hitting move, he can't use Power Wave against the poison type, then he needs to do Body Slam, and I could let the first one go. Another Dragonair. I really dislike the Dragon types with this team at least. And he even caught the Body Slam on his muck. So now he has a Dragonair with a lot of HP, and there are still no shields to use, so I am very scared towards the end of this match if he ends up saving shields for the Dragonair. But it seems like he's just letting me take out his muck, which is very interesting. I think he made a mistake of over-farming here, letting me get to my third Body Slam, and him not really having like a direct answer to my Vigoroth. That gives me a little bit of hope, even though he has a very strong and a lot of energy, the Shadow Dragonair. Because if he doesn't have a really good swap for the Vigoroth, maybe he doesn't have a good swap for my Umbreon either. We'll see. But he gets the Body Slam. I basically needed to let one of them go, because otherwise he could just do even more damage and like do even more Body Slams. And I think my Umbreon tanks some of the Body Slams better than my Shadow Muck, so I ended up sponging a little bit of HP. But here is the Ninetales. And this is always funny, because like it's very simple to be the Umbreon, you can just go straight foul play. But I need to call a bait. I need to find out if this is a Weather Ball or Overheat, and I shield the wrong one. So that's a big bummer. I did have an extra shield though, and I'm also going to get him very low with the Ninetales. But I think he can just farm up to double Weather Ball, or at least close to, so he's going to outpace. But he's very low HP, so I'm like, nope, you're not allowed to that. But also the Dragonair has a lot of damage. Lickitung, which is not a good lead. So I switch to Vigoroth, and I get a little bit of an energy head start. He's sort of slow to the switch, so I can now get to the Body Slam, get him to use his first shield, and then he realizes I'm gonna make my Body Slam, and I can now either make him trade his very last shield or give up switch advantage. Because he CMP ties me, I shield, and then I go for my Body Slam, but he lets it go, so he basically gives me switch advantage here. And because I see a Lickitung in the lead, and I'm like, well, that's a really good answer to Rodriguez. Maybe it's double fighting. So that's why I went in with the Ambient instead of going in with the Muk, and also because it's a way better matchup. But he does have for double fighting, so that was a nice prediction from me. And then I can last resort him before switching out, and basically only take one move from the Primate on my Muk. And I was sort of afraid of the close combat, and I thought the close combat was going to do more damage than the Body Slam from the Lickitung, so I ended up shielding it here. Because I was like, Umbreon doesn't need shields. We're just going to take out the Primate, and there's no need of using shields. So yeah, I do end up having a lot of Thunder Punches and getting the last shield off the Lickitung. He gets a huge farm down here. I'm very, very unhappy that I didn't get the last Thunder Punch, but that is what happens. But I'm very tanky, and this Lickitung doesn't do that much damage with the Body Slams. I think he had one more, but it would not have been enough. So I just barely get him with the foul play. But I'm very, very satisfied by winning against a double fighting team, now that I am double weak to fighting, into the triple legacy seeking. And I do get to a Thunder Punch before he decides to throw a move. I think he might have wanted to threaten me with a Drill Run, but he shields the first one, which makes a lot of sense. I'm also going to shield the first one, because I'm scared of a Drill Run. But he Icy Wind baits me, he nerfs my attack, and then I go into Vigoroth, and I think he's just going to Icy Wind me before switching out. Yep. So now I just cannot win switch at all. But I still think both my Pokemon are doing pretty well against the Seeking that is alive now. It also is pretty low, the Seeking. So like my Umbreon can take it out with a single foul play. So I will not win switch. But I can go back in with the Muk. I can farm down the Sylveon. Unfortunately, I have to give up the shield because the Community Day attack gave Psyshock to Sylveon. So I couldn't just let that go. And I'm a little bit surprised he didn't come in with the Seeking, but I think maybe because he entered all his energy out versus my Vigoroth, then he could really come back in and like Drill Run my Muk. And also he's slow enough that I can just take him with a foul play. It's like I'm already threatening his last shield, but he just wanted to debuff my Umbreon. And that's really bad. It's like this is going to be Umbreon versus Umbreon in a second, and mine is going to be debuffed, which is really bad. But also we haven't seen his second attack on his Umbreon yet, so we don't know if this is Psychic or Last Resort. And because he foul plays me, it's gotta be Psychic. Like he's not gonna do anything else. I did overfarm by 1 on accident here, but I wanted to come back in later without the debuff to throw the moves. And I could very quickly switch in here, clear my debuffs, and get a Thunder Punch off the Umbreon. And now I have like super amount of energy, so I can just Last Resort. I can do one more style, I can do another Last Resort. And because he doesn't have Last Resort, he's gonna lose that match. Muk into Rodriguez. I really do not like this matchup. Like, you need to bait if you want to win the switch, but usually I just want to try and catch, but that did not work this time. Although my opponent allowed me to get extra counter before he switched, so I can again get to my second Body Slam. So I put him in a really bad position. Like, do you want to use your second shield already? Or do you want to give up switch? So for this guy actually gave the second shield. So now I can come in Muk. I can farm him all the way down. I can shield once to make sure he's not gonna make it to a move. But he didn't even throw it. Like, I was surprised. So I just, okay, I'll take that. And then he comes in with the Rodriguez. And I can use the shield on that instead. Like, I was looking forward to just shielding once on the champ and farming him down. But he just went for another counter. That was a big mistake. So I can just Dark Pulse and like see ya to the Rodriguez, and then he got a Vigoroth in the back. And I decided to try and catch on the Umbreon. I succeeded because I was worried if I was gonna be taken down by that Body Slam on my Shadow Muk, and I really wanted to get off the Thunder Punch. So now I have one poison jab off the Thunder Punch on my Muck. But also, I think Umbreon might just be able to outlive the Vigoroth. So because Vigoroth has no shields to protect itself, it didn't survive. It didn't survive. It just barely did not survive. But unfortunately, fortunately, he did not have the energy to take out my Muck on top. Muck into another Dragonair, and we just simultaneously switch. So now we're both on a normal type with the fighting type attack. But I have counter, which is a 2-turn move, and he has double kick, which I think is a 3-turn move. So it feels like it's more clunky for him to play. And I honestly think that is what allows me to get this this body slam off before he does. So he needs to take a decision first, which is for him to shield. And then I can just do the same and basically counter him down. And he might just die with the body slam. I'm fairly certain he died with the body slam there, because that felt a little bit weird, to be honest. Like, how do I win against that when like double is super duper spammy? But like, I mean, Vigoroth is also very, very spammy. But that allows me to have now the Umbreon on the Muck. I'm just gonna sponge anything, and like he threw an acid spray, which took me by surprise a little bit. But it was good not to shield that, and I can snipe his Muck. And now he has a Dragonair in a very tough spot. Like, I have a Thunder attack. Thunder Punch that's not very effective, but like he's just so low at this point. Like I can just jab him down. He basically needed to either have 2 moves or like try and shield that and win against my Muck. That's not gonna happen. Muck Mirror. That is a tough one. I'm always at a loss of words. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna throw the Thunder? Am I gonna try and get the Dark Pulse? Because like it's a very big risk to throw the Dark Pulse and they shield it, because then you just lose straight up because of that. But I just end up copying exactly what he's doing most of the time. And then we again Simo switch, but I think I got a poison jab through. So his Vigoroth is a little bit lower than mine, which is to my luck. So I can just copy what he's doing, and I think I should win like with last second. But also I get a little bit scared here that he has the body slam at the same time, because we were only like 1 turn off, and I threw my attack first. So maybe he was also at the move right there. But I won the switch nonetheless, which is it's very nice. Then I come in with my Umbreon, I just farm this Muck. I think I farm him all the way down actually, because he can only really threaten me with Thunder Punch, but then he comes in with a Machamp. But I already have a Last Resort loaded, which is really nice. I'm gonna do a lot of damage or take a shield. And then I come in with Muck and I'm like, please make it to a move. Like, I'm super scared here. But I think it was a mistake for him to throw that move, because if he had not thrown that cross chop, he could have countered me down. Because look at my HP. Like, one more counter, I would have been down. I would have been taken out. But then I can come in Umbreon and I can very comfortably take the last attack. He decided to not even throw it. I can just farm him down. Oof. And now this is another set, like later on in the day, and I am 7 points off getting my veteran. And as you saw before, I was already in a 2 lead. And I get a really good lead. I get a really good switch in, and this is looking nice. It's like this is almost the win, almost at this point, like basically at this point, which means I cannot go negative in this set. I had a 2-win start, and now I have 3 wins. So this is my veteran set. This is very, very nice. And what I really like about Vigoroth into Umbreon is that you can just copy what the Umbreon does, but he needs to take the decision first. So it's a very comfortable matchup when they switch in Umbreon, and he basically decided to just play the Zero Shield and lose it. Then he come back in with the Charmer, and I have an extra body slam to take out half the HP of the Grand Ball. So now I can farm him down. He switched into Hypno, and I just switch in Umbreon. Like, a very lucky for me rock, paper, scissors match. I just had answers for everything he switched in. So this is another time where I succeeded in catching, and I was hoping it was going to be a Shadow Ball, but that was not the case. It was unfortunate, like the higher rank I got, the less people tried to kill my Muck with the Shadow Ball. So it didn't really work as much to go into Vigoroth and catch a move, which felt really bad, because like you're really putting yourself in a tough spot having your Vigoroth with that low HP. But since he let both the bulldozers go through, I'm now in a position where I can outspeed him quite a bit and like threaten him, even with body slam. So he switched out, he realized that, and now he go into Berserker. But I did get a lot of damage on that Berserker before I went down, so I can just go in Umbreon here, and I should be fairly okay, because like a foul play will take him out as soon as he does a close combat, which I was expecting this to be. This was just like a lucky call that he did close combat me right away. But I'm expecting now him to have like double close combat. But he didn't throw it exactly at the same time, so maybe he was a little bit short, and he let it go, which surprised me. But him having Registeel in the back, oof. Alright, I'm no longer surprised by his saved shields, because like Registeel is really, really good against the remaining Pokemon I have. But he also really does not do much damage with his fast moves, and like Umbreon is still okay with the lock-ons, so I can get to a lot of foul play. So even though I am like in a really bad situation, like he needs to waste a move on my Umbreon with basically no HP. So I can keep threatening him, and then I switch in my Muck. I was trying to get the Registeel with the snipe, but he had a shield, and he still had a Cofagrigus, and he managed to catch me. But then I got a lot of farm down on the Cofagrigus, and I got the foul play, but he wins CMP. So unfortunately, I did not have a very big chance in that match. But it was still a good one. It's a very close one. Decided by CMP, that is exciting when that is the way it ends. Alright, last match before Veteran. We go into Umbreon lead. Just go instantly to Vigoroth, and they switch in a Shadow Ninetales, which is like a fairly even matchup, but I have an energy advantage now, so he basically needs to land an overheat if he does not want to start shielding. But I think he's going to start shielding. Yeah, he's going to start shielding. So he has at least one, if not two, of the balls. But I'm mostly afraid of the overheat, so that's why I shielded. I think I'll let this one go. Yeah, because like I was very much doubting him to use an overheat with that health range, but I just barely survived it. And then I got a switch advantage, and I got an extra move off of the Umbreon. So now we can do Umbreon Mirror. I know, it's very, very exciting. And I think he had either a fighter or a fairy type in the back, because he was not happy about that. Or maybe he didn't even have the last resort on his Umbreon. That could also be a case to be made. And then we get the veteran rank, and a lot of rating. And to those of you who are extra observative, you notice that this is actually not 300 rating. But I got a last match for you guys to show like mostly the ending of my my battle weekend. So it is very late at night. I'm playing at 10 p.m. at this time, and I have a Vigoroth against the Umbreon. So this is also like a very rock paper scissors game. Like this is one of the like easy wins, because like I win lead, I win switch, and yes, I will also win in the back. And you guys can probably guess what he has in the back that Umbreon is really, really good against, and what is really popular in this meta. So yeah, this is basically just a free match. I had a couple of these. I had like a lot of these actually, but they would be boring to show in the video. So I wanted to show you some of my struggles, some of the battles that I was very proud of in this weekend. So it's a little bit different than usually. Also, this is like a commentary instead of me live playing, which I also usually do. Here's the Cofagrigus, and he forfeits. So yeah, now we see some of my result on the weekend. So I have a very strong 5-0 here. It's up on 25.76. So not entirely like positive. I had a lot of ups and downs on Sunday. I started to doubt my teams and change up other teams. That just did not go well. So this team carried quite a bit, and now it's plus 300 rating. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. That would help me out quite a bit. I hope you guys also had a very nice Go Battle weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.